Have you been dabbling in business, but you're not really sure where to focus? Or maybe you've been thinking about starting a business or a side hustle, but you just don't have that much time to dedicate because you're a stay-at-home mom or you're still working a 9 to 5, so you have to fit everything into the nooks and crannies. I totally hear you. Today, I'm going to share 16 of the most in-demand freelancing specialties that can be done any time of day and from anywhere. If you haven't yet, hit that red subscribe button and the bell so that you get a notification every time I post about building your business or creating a freedom lifestyle. I started my business journey about 5 years ago, and at that time I was a full-time stay-at-home mom of 2 kids, had 2 boys, and then I was pregnant with my third, my daughter. And at that time, we were actually renovating a 100-year-old home. So we were in our early 20s, we had no college degrees, we had minimal credit, and our plates were stuffed full of to-dos. In case you didn't put this together, we were totally strapped for cash. So I had gotten really good at saving money. I did everything from budgeting to couponing, but over time, I realized that the only way to improve our financial situation was to actually start bringing in more income and getting a cash injection. At first, that was looking like maybe starting an Etsy store or flipping items for $20 here and there. I even did surveys and secret shopping. But over time, I realized that starting a legitimate business, a real business where I built a reputation, was the answer and the solution to my problems. So back then, people were really pushing that blogging and starting a mom blog was the way to make money from home. And so that is where my marketing journey really began. I started a blog and I had no idea what I was doing when I started or what it was going to become, but I had big dreams of being able to make money, really, really good money from home. It became very clear that blogging was the long game, and I didn't know who I was enough to make that long game short enough. It was going to get me where I needed to go. So I started looking at all of the options in front of me, and I recognized that offering services was a way to make money without any overhead and to make it quickly. All you have to do is connect with the right people and you get paid right away to do a job and to provide a service. So that was a really interesting option for me, and I started dabbling in that. And you could say that the rest is history. I became a copywriter and marketing strategist, and now I help other women overcome all of those things that I struggled with so much in the beginning of my business journey. So the point is that I have been around the block, I have seen all of the different jobs, and some of these freelancing specialties just have more opportunity than others. And I believe that if you're going to do the work and you're going to learn a skill set, that you should learn one that's going to pay you for less work, right? Pay you more for less work so that you don't have to spend your entire life like working and you can actually enjoy it. That being said, there are 5 things that made it so that these jobs hit the list. Okay, they're time flexible, because if you have a life and you have kids and you're working around things, you need to be able to control your own schedule. So time flexible. Location independence. You can work from wherever, whenever, right? Little to no startup cost, because remember, I was super broke and there was no way I was going to be able to throw thousands of dollars into starting a business. No degree required. The last thing I want you to do is spend the next 4 years getting ready to start this new career, okay? These are things that you can get started with right now, and you can build a skill set as you go. Uncapped income potential. So this means that you can make 6 figures or 7 figures if you want to, and that you can continue to grow your business beyond your wildest dreams, you guys. So these have uncapped income potential, and when the time comes, they will be easy to scale into an empire if that's what you're looking for. Or you might even be able to get away with doing 1 or 2 jobs a month and actually pay all of your bills. I did that. When I became a single mom in the beginning, I was not working full time. I was just working enough to pay my bills, and I was trying to figure out the rest of my life. So I was probably putting in 10 to 20 hours per week, maybe less, doing 1 job and marketing. So anyway, I'm going to dive into this list. It is massive, so I'm going to try and keep these brief, but let me know in the comments if I say something that you want a little bit more info on, and I can do a follow-up video that goes into the specifics of how that exact situation works, okay? Job number 1, become a social media manager. Okay, so if you have a love for social media, you're always on the newest platforms and you're testing things and you're making content for fun, this could be a really great option for you. But that is not the only thing that you do as a social media manager. There are actually specialties inside of this whole umbrella, and I'm going to talk about them today. So you could become a community manager. It is very common for successful entrepreneurs these days to have large Facebook communities. I'm talking 50,000 people in some of them. And when you're managing that many people and you're trying to make sure that the group is a great space for people to hang out in, there has to be some moderating, right? But most of these successful entrepreneurs don't want to take the time to do that, or they can't do it on their own because it is just too overwhelming. So they actually hire people to come in and help them manage their audience and make sure that everybody is playing nice inside of their community. So community manager, great way to specialize. Focus on engagement or become a social seller. So if you love to have one-on-one conversations with people and you're not afraid to mention an offer or ask somebody to hop on a call with your client when it feels good and it feels right, then this would be a really great place for you to focus on. So coaches and consultants like me like to reach out and build a great network, and that means that there is a lot of back-end work involved in trying to connect with people and create those relationships. So I recognize that there is an upfront investment. I do it all myself, but there are people that have grown their audiences through using social sellers alone. They haven't done a lick of the work until people actually get into their offer. So this is a very viable way for you to earn a living online. Some of these positions are paid hourly, and they are more focused on the engagement and just making sure that you're responding to comments and messages and doing inbox management kind of stuff on social media. And others are actually paid on commission because it is a sales position where if you get somebody onto a call and they purchase whatever your client is trying to sell to them, then you get a chunk of that profit. So it's a great way to get started if you are people oriented and you're not afraid of sales, or you're not afraid to talk to people and say, hey, this is what I've got when it feels good. Become an ads manager. So if you are good and very proficient at social media management and you find that in the first few months you're really helping your clients to gain traction and your content is just hitting home every time, that is an indication that you have a knack for telling people what they need to hear. So this is called messaging and positioning in business, and well, mostly messaging, but it is a vital skill set to have as an ads manager. And if you have found that this is your zone of genius, specializing as an ads manager is going to quadruple your income basically overnight, because people are willing to pay for traffic, and the people that are willing to pay for traffic can also pay somebody to make sure that those ads are set up properly. So this does take a little bit of learning, but dabbling in it and figuring out if it's something that you're interested in is a great idea if you're noticing that, hey, this might be where you really thrive. Okay, ads management, great opportunity. Become a video editor. Seriously, if you have dabbled in creating slideshows for your family functions, or in high school, you made YouTube videos with your friends, you have everything that you need to get started with this. Most coaches and consultants like myself are looking for simple edits where you just cut and delete and put it together. It doesn't have to be fancy, and you can always build your skill sets as you go. So video editing, if it's something that you enjoy, is a very profitable niche to be in, and it can be super enjoyable and fun because you get to be a little bit creative and bring other people's visions to life. Become a podcast editor. Yes, seriously, you can get paid to sit in Audacity and listen to people having conversations and taking out the filler words or the weird breaks, okay? All you have to do is learn a bit of audio mastering and mixing, and you can just take off from there. I was completely self-taught, and I did this for a good 6 months before I specialized into copywriting, okay? So this is a great viable platform. I was making $1,000 per month per client as I did this, and I did the full management. So I would edit, and then I would create social media content to go with it and show notes and upload it all for them. But this only took me probably 2 to 3 hours per episode, 1 episode a week. So it was totally worth my time, totally worth my money, and I could have really scaled with that offer if it had been where I wanted to focus. It's a great way to specialize. Become a graphic designer or illustrator. So there is more and more demand for high quality, professional, clean and crisp graphics online. And you do not have to be a logo designer if you don't want to. You could literally start in Canva, which if you aren't familiar with Canva, go check it out because it's awesome. But you could start with Canva, which is like a drag and drop builder, and get really good after probably a few days of just tinkering and creating graphics. So I'm talking things like Facebook covers, social media posts, like, quote templates and things like that. You could really specialize as a graphic designer. Or you could go into the premium graphic designer world where you're creating an entire brand for somebody and people are willing to pay high ticket for that because your branding really represents who you are as a business and it sets people up to trust you. So this is a great place to specialize if you have graphic design skills or illustration skills and you are willing to use them to help other people build their online presence. Become a website designer or funnel builder. So it's amazing how technology has advanced over the past decade, even the past 5 years since I got into the game. Things have improved drastically and made it easier than ever to offer services. So I have been in the back end of most of the major funnel platforms and website, things and website softwares. And I can tell you that most of them are easy to learn and they're very intuitive. They are drag and drop. So if you find that you are tech inclined and you pick these up and learn these new softwares easily, this could be a very good place for you to focus. People are willing to pay thousands of dollars to have somebody take their web design or funnel building off of their hands. And it is a very in-demand service now that everybody is trying to build their online presence and look as professional as possible. Become a copywriter or content writer. So this is what I did. I started as a content writer. I was doing social media captions and blog posts and things like that. And then somebody asked me to write an email sequence for an upcoming launch. And that is when I fell in love and I realized that I did not want to dabble in social media management anymore or VA stuff anymore. I was all about writing sales copy. So copywriting is literally the act of writing persuasive words so that people will take an action. Okay, content writing is nurturing and building an audience so that when the time comes, you can swoop in and use some copywriting to get them to do what you want them to do. And as manipulative as that sounds, there always has to be strategy behind a business, even when it is a heartfelt, soul-centered business. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with being a copywriter or a content writer. Okay, I just wanted to preface that a little bit because I struggled a little bit in the beginning with the fact that I was constantly selling to people in my profession. But I absolutely love copywriting because the results are so tangible. You can see your work in action, you can feel it. And when I'm writing, it feels like I'm writing a motivational speech because I do care. And I'd rather have people like me that care about other people behind those words so that we're not using those ugly, sleazy sales tactics anymore. And we are coming at this from a place of permission-based sales. So become a copywriter or a content writer if you love talking to people, you love sharing things, researching, and writing comes easily to you. It's a very viable option for a six-figure business. By the way, tell me in the comments below if any of these have piqued your interest and why. I want to hear what is making you feel excited about being able to make money online. All right, so this next one is awesome. It's perfect for moms because it is mostly data entry and admin work. Bookkeeping. So if you have a background in bookkeeping, which is very common for people that have worked a 9 to 5, then you are already ready to go into this, right? So this is a great option. Become an executive assistant. So this person is like the right-hand man to the CEO or whatever you want to call it of a small business. So they are proactive, forward-thinking people that help make sure that things are in place so that no problems come up in the first place. So basically, if you are a problem solver that thinks ahead and takes obstacles out of the way before they even become a problem, then this is a really great option for you. Become an online business manager or project manager. So if you are a very organized person and you can really help keep people on task and follow up and make sure that everything is running smoothly and an entire team is working together well, then this would be a great position for you. So the difference between these two titles is that one of them is in the business all the time, making sure that things are going on properly and they're running smoothly, and connecting all of the different areas of a business from marketing to sales to back-end admin stuff, right? And the other is specifically helping overlook a project. So that could be a challenge or a launch, anything like that. So one is kind of like a full-time, I'm in here all the time helping you. The other is, you get to mix it up and be in different businesses all the time and have your hands in different pots, and I think that that's really fun. But either way, if you're organized and you're on top of things and you live your life by a planner, and you're always penciling things into your calendar, I think that this is a very great place for you to look into and focus on and specialize so that you can start making more money for less work. That being said, if anything on this list piqued your interest, but you're not confident and you don't feel like you're ready to give yourself that title, or if there are several things that you're interested in, but you don't know which one you're leaning towards most, then I would recommend starting with a virtual assistant title. So virtual assistants is basically this massive umbrella where any kind of service under the sun can fall under, right? And it is just a great way to slap a label on yourself, say, I'm in business, and get started. I don't recommend sticking with this for the long term because I do believe that it affects your positioning and how people view you, because it literally says assistant in the title, and at some point you're going to want to graduate into being the authority in your space. But until that point, virtual assistants and branding yourself as a virtual assistant is a great way to dabble and get paid at the same time. So take different jobs, try different things, work with different kinds of people, and see where your zone of genius really is. And then once you identify that, you can specialize into any of these things on the list and just swap out your title, and all of a sudden things will shift for you. Okay, it is a great way. I branded myself as a virtual assistant. It probably took me 3 months before I shifted into copywriting. When I shifted into copywriting, I was able to quadruple my rates literally overnight because suddenly I started charging industry standards. So my advice is that if you do know where you want to focus and one of these is really pulling to you, start there. But if you're not sure and you just need to start making money online and figuring things out, virtual assistants is a great path because oftentimes your client actually wants to train you and they want to mold you a little bit so that you do things their way, exactly how you want to. So you can literally get paid to start picking up these skill sets as long as you have a good attitude, you show up and you're looking professional, and you put in 100% and try your best to get results. That is what people are looking for. They are not looking for experience, they are looking for results. So prove that you have the attitude to make that happen, and then take advantage of the fact that this is even something that can become a reality for you. Okay, and last but not least, if you didn't really resonate with anything on this list, but you have gone through a specific journey or a specific transformation, anything from like going from a clutter bug to totally decluttering your life and being a minimalist, or being overweight and losing 100 pounds, or learning how to meal prep so that you can feed your family healthy organic foods, anything like that, a specific skill set that takes somebody from a point A to a point B, then you should really consider becoming a coach or a consultant and selling that strategy. I know that this sounds kind of crazy, but you can sell this in a one-on-one or in a group circumstance, and you can make thousands of dollars by helping people to get the results that they're looking for. If you can solve a problem, then you can sell it. If the problem is important enough for people to pay for it, they are going to get your help, or they're going to get somebody else's help. So this is a very viable way to turn your life experience, your expertise, your strengths. If you're a very intuitive, kind person or an empath, then you can really feel it and you're always helping people through their problems. Those are skill sets that you can make money off of. So don't be afraid to dabble a little bit. Start asking questions. Start practicing what it might feel like to be a coach or a consultant and to help people through their problems. And think about if that might be the path for you. And it's really amazing because you get to see the impact that you're making as you work with these people. So become a coach or consultant. That's the 16th thing on this massive list of options and high-paying freelance positions that you can actually look into and give a shot. If you are interested in seeing what it looks like to incorporate a signature offer into your business, then I would love for you to download my new free mini course. It is a 4-part series that walks you through everything that you need to know about creating a sales sequence that works, okay? This is the exact recipe or strategy that I used to go from a struggling VA. It was literally hitting like $800 per month. I was trying super hard to connect with clients, but I wasn't getting anywhere, or not quickly enough as a single mom that had quit her job. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But I went from a struggling VA to making $4,000 within 3 weeks as soon as I put this into action, okay? And then from there, only 3 months later, I believe, it was 3 months, I hit my first 10K month, and it's been amazing to just see how this knowledge has turned my life around. So if you are interested in grabbing that 4-part free mini course, the link is in the description below, you guys. And be sure to check out this video about how to nail your niche even as a new business owner. So if you are struggling to find your zone of genius, or you're wondering how to choose between this massive list of ideas, then this is really going to help you.